Alright guys, so we're at the first charging stop.
Say hi.
So we didn't get a chance to give you guys the first leg to see how long it was going to take, but we're at the first charging stop. Started off in Port St. Lucie. We're now in Daytona. It's been like an hour, close to 2 hours maybe. Show you the charging stats. So as you can see here, we need to have about another 20 minutes to continue our road trip. I'm going to overcharge for basically everything that I've seen. It's always safer to overcharge than undercharge. Let's see if I can pull up some of the stats so far for the trip. So you can see, so trip duration 2 hours and 14 minutes. We've been sitting here for maybe 5 minutes already. So maybe actually about 2 hours and 10 minutes on the road. You can see the average energy consumed. Total energy, average watts, average energy, and then total energy, and also the distance. So 153 miles into the leg. This is a 15-hour trip, I believe, roughly. We'll see once it's all said and done, from Port St. Lucie to Pigeon Forge. I will say that so far, the biggest thing that I don't like was that it did recalculate the first place that we were supposed to charge at. The first place we were supposed to charge at was actually a little bit further away, maybe an additional 20 miles or so, but it didn't think that I was going to make it in enough battery, so it did recalculate, which is fine. But it landed us here, and there's no one else here. As you guys saw the time, it's pretty early in the morning, but it's also in the parking lot where there is nothing around. So unfortunately, if you have to go to the bathroom, that's a huge inconvenience because you can't do anything like that. So just first impressions of the first leg. We will see you guys at the next stop, which should be approximately it's almost 3 o'clock now, and close to 2 hours from now, in Kings Island, Georgia. See you guys then. We're at our second stop here. It's going to be a little bit longer, 35 minutes to continue driving. Again, we are in the middle of nowhere, if you will. There's a bunch of stalls available, but there's nothing around here, like at all. There's a hotel behind us. So there's some places that you can eat across the way, but this is at 5:08 a.m. And of course, we would have to walk over there, which is pretty far. It's crossing a major highway. There's 2 hotels behind us, but not like the other superchargers where I've been to, where you can sort of, like, I'm not even sure what this building is right across the street from it, or right there. It looks like it's some sort of police department or something. Which obviously, I guess that's good because you're safe, but nothing that you can actually do like if you're at a rest stop. So I guess that sort of is what it is. Just looking at some of the driving stats. So when I thought that it was just going to save the trip altogether, but it didn't. It sort of cleared things out. So what you can see here, this last leg was 125 miles, an hour and 46 minutes. Average energy there. And so trip A is basically since the last stop. Well, actually it's not, because I started it in the middle. So those are the stats. So we're gonna sit here at a charge for 35 minutes, probably gonna overcharge to about 40 minutes, and then we will see. The next stop is supposed to be in Kissimmee, South Carolina, then Columbia, South Carolina, then Asheville. So I think originally it only showed that we were supposed to stop 4 times to charge. This is already the second one, and it looks like there's 3 more. So it looks like they picked up 1 additional place to charge at. So we'll see. But I will check in with you guys when we're getting ready to leave from here.
So I also just wanted to talk about, we're going on this trip from Florida to Tennessee with our 2-year-old. He's a 2-year-old little boy, very rambunctious. So we did a lot to prepare to make sure that we didn't have any like tantrums and stuff like that. This is our second stop, and he's been great. He slept the first leg, but at our first stop he woke up, and he didn't go back to sleep after that. he tried to, I guess, fall asleep for a little bit, but it wasn't working out. And so since it's nighttime, we've just put on the tablet and he's been fine. But we brought a whole bunch of different things that he can entertain himself with during the trip. So we'll see how that goes. Like, for instance, we brought him a bunch of little toy car things. He loves little toy cars, some writing tablets, a little like baby smartwatch, just a bunch of like new things that he's never really played with, just to keep his attention, especially during the day, so that we're not regaled to the tablet. But I mean, the tablet's been great so far, so we'll see.
So you can see his setup back there.
Not to mention, we have like a stockpile of snacks readily available. When we get out, like during the day, we'll kind of show you the different trays that we used and stuff like that when we have better lighting. But it's been really easy to just grab things and everything like that. So yeah, get your milk, get your snacks, get your tablet.
So I recorded the video, but then I realized that we had the white noise or ocean sounds playing, so you guys didn't hear anything that I said. So basically, this stop says that we needed to charge for about 20 minutes. And of course, we're going to overcharge about 25 or 30 minutes. It's a better location because there is a Wendy's here, which is right there, and there's also a BP. Unfortunately, even though the hours say that Wendy's is open, I guess their inside is not open. So if you need to go to the bathroom, you obviously can't do that. I was able to go to the BP, however. So far, the biggest, I don't want to say issue, the biggest downside with charging at any of these stops has been, and they're not really true rest stops. So these are all along 95. They're not on the turnpike. My experience with traveling on the turnpike is that usually you can get some that are decent rest stops or rest areas where you can take your family out. And that's pretty much the point I've been belaboring, talking about a lot on these videos. But I mean, stalls are pretty good. There's 1, 2, 3. I get a video of the stalls. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stalls. A little bit more than that. There was one other, so there's just 2 people charging here now. Obviously there was one right before that, and then again, just so you guys can see the Wendy's and the BP, and there's a McDonald's over there as well. Let's show you guys these bins for the baby as he's sleeping now in the back.
So we wanted to make sure that there was no chance of us being in a situation where we needed something. So the number one things that we made sure that we stocked up on was food and entertainment. So we have these little trays that you can actually pull out. They're designed for Tesla, that he actually bought a little while ago. But they've come in really handy because they can just slide underneath your seat, and it's a good space saver. So this is for the video man, peanut brittle, but we've got all types
gotta
of...
make sure we get that off.
We got a bunch of like healthy snacks, so Nutri-Grain bars, but then we also got treats too, like fruit snacks. We've got little bite things. We've got all of these little cracker things. We literally just went to Sam's Club and kind of went crazy. Not really. We bought like 4 or 5 things in bulk, and just easy to open it up and eat them ourselves, or disperse them to the baby. We also got like protein bars for us, which I think we might have forgotten to pack, but the intent was there. So since he's 2, when we give him something, we have like a little cup that he could just hold, and it's big enough for him to put his little hand in it, and then he just eats it. We also have like a big thing of cheese balls.
As you guys can see, the Tesla is pretty much packed to the brim. I know it's kind of difficult to hear in there.
And then,
so there's, just so you guys know, we have 2 of those. There's one under each, the driver's seat and the passenger seat. The other one does have the protein bars in it, and I have a couple of 5-hour drinks for myself.
So, and then we also made sure to like have a bunch of toys and entertainment. So obviously we have the tablet, and like I said earlier, like it works really well at nighttime, but I don't want him to like have 13 hours of screen time. So we have new toys, or toys that he hasn't played with in a long time, that are just gonna appear new. So for instance, he got this like watch for his birthday, but then we have a bunch of little like toy CARS. It's a trigger word, and I don't want him to wake up and be like, you know. So I'm throwing it out. And then this is really cool. I got it from Amazon. It's a bunch of fidget toys. So you have like a bunch of dimple toys, you have a bunch of balls, a bunch of like tactile stimulation toys that literally you could just hand him. And if your child is younger, do your due diligence to just make sure you don't give them a toy that's a choking hazard. But this is like $12 or something, or $20. Not a lot of money, and it has a lot of variety, so if something's going to be new, like we could go on like 4 road trips with this and not even, you know, finish it. We also have writing tablets, so literally he can just color on it. It's like a no mess color thing, because obviously toddlers are very messy, and he could just color on it with this little pen. We got 2 of them in case the pen goes down. And it came into, again, Amazon. It was like $9.99. Then we have like another coloring tablet with a stylus that's attached, which is really cool because it's not going anywhere. And this one is like an LED tablet. So a bunch of entertainment for him. We have a puzzle that literally is magnetic. So all he has to do is put the magnets on. And the door, I don't want to wake him up. We have like those sound books, you know, that you can, you know, press the buttons on the side. We've all seen them, where you have like literature writing on the left side, and then like the sounds on the right side. So he's got 2 of those books, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sure I'm forgetting something because we filled the car up in stages. And so one of the first stages was making sure we had all of his entertainment, and it's right up here by me, so that I could just grab something and give it to him if I notice that he's getting like kind of cranky. Obviously the educational stuff will be the first line of defense, and then worst case scenario, then we'll just resort to the tablet.
Speaking of which, we need to make sure that we go ahead and remove the tablet now while he's sleeping.
I was about to say the same thing, because he'll wake up and be like, I want something on. So yeah. So aside from the entertainment, we also wanted to make sure that we had like wipes and stuff on hand in case we had, you know, any accidents. You know, children, they have drainage. So we have a brand new pack of wipes.
They have drainage.
They do. We have a brand new pack of wipes in the front that we've just been using throughout the trip to just, you know, wipe things up, hands and everything like that. We also have these non-toxic disinfecting wipes in case something falls on the ground and, you know, liable to put it in his mouth. We can just go ahead and use these. And then I also have like a small thing of to-go Clorox wipes if we go anywhere. But wipes are your best friend. You really don't need like your huge diaper bag like up front with you, because if you take a stop and you're going to use the diaper bag, you could just take it out of the trunk or whatever. So everything that you're going to immediately use, you just have in your immediate vicinity.
I think I have about 10 more minutes or so. 6 more minutes to charge. I'm going to overcharge for maybe about 5 more minutes after this. And I wanted to see if this will show me. Click here, I can't. I'm pretty sure that this is a level 3 supercharger. I'm not 100% sure, but I will put some text on here so you guys can see. The last charger that I was at was not a level 3. I think it was level 2, because it had me charging for not a lot longer, but longer. Okay, so we're all charged up, and the next stop is going to be a supercharger in Columbia, South Carolina. About an hour and 45 minutes away, 119 miles. That should be the second to last stop that we have. Let's see, trip stats. If it'll load them up. Trips. And so that last leg was 144 miles, 220 minutes, average energy 360. See there, it's per mile. And then trip A, like I said, this technically started in the middle. This is after the first leg. I think we're doing pretty good with our total energy and average energy. Okay, so we just got at this is charging station number 4 at Harbison Boulevard in Columbia, South Carolina. Looks like we're gonna have to charge it for 35 minutes. I don't think that these are level 3 chargers because of that charge time. And we're still gonna have to charge again in Asheville. So let me go ahead and plug it up and see how long it's gonna take. Well, it says 35 minutes, but let's see what these charging speeds get to. This is a huge charging station. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I think there's like 3 more on the other side, so maybe 15 bays. We're the only ones here, so we should get optimum charging speeds. But like I said, I just don't think this is level 3 because of the amount of time that it's going to take to charge. Let's see here. Oh, 237, yeah, so I mean it's getting to 250 kilowatts. We're close to it. You guys can see. Let's go to trips really quickly. That last trip, 350 watt hours per mile, hour and 43 minutes. Total energy since the last charge, 42 kilowatts. About 130 kilowatts for this trip, which we all know didn't start exactly at the very beginning. So yeah, baby did good. He started getting his toys. He's gone through 3 or 4 of them, if not 5. So, but he did good on this leg. So we're gonna get out, stretch our legs. At this particular charging station, it is like a plaza. There's a McDonald's. This is probably the best for convenience that we've been to so far. There's going to be obviously places for you to use the restroom, and of course we are here during the day, so that's a little bit different. This is at nighttime. The only place you really be able to go to is probably Circle K to use the restrooms. I don't think McDonald's is probably not 24 hours on the inside. Might grab a bite to eat there, or there's a Denny's not too far from here either that we could probably walk to. So let's see what the family wants to do and take it from there. So just for clarification, pretty much every charger that we have gone to has been a V3 supercharger, and it's supposed to be able to get you 250 kilowatt hour worth of charge. However, even for this one that has like 13 bays or whatever, and it started off initially going great. I took a screenshot, and we were the only car at the time when I took the screenshot, and we were only getting 99 kilowatt hour charging speeds. Not sure why. It preconditioned and everything like that, but it was charging pretty slowly after like 5 minutes. So I'm not 100% sure why that's the case. It is very cold here, so that probably has something to do with it. But yeah, we have let it overcharge for maybe extra 8 minutes right now, and then we are going to continue on our destination. We just have one more place to go, or rather one more supercharger, before we reach our final destination. And like I said, this place definitely had more things to do, or for convenience spots, than previously. So now it's super slow, 17 kilowatt hours. But like I said, it's been maybe an extra 5 or 10 minutes or so. Zende, say hi. Zende. Really? You want to get in the front seat? Bye. Okay, so we are all set. Get ready to peel out now. We're going to reach the supercharger in Asheville in about 2 hours and 20 minutes. 138 miles, as you guys can see. And then we will see how long we have to charge there. That should be our last stop before we reach our final destination. So far, total trip time has been right around 12 hours. And I don't want to jinx anything, but right now it's actually been pretty good. The fact that we've been stopping every 2 hours or so is like the perfect time, in all honesty, because we have driven quite a lot. Where we live in relation to like Orlando and just where we've lived over the last few years, most of our trips have topped out at about 2 hours and 30 minutes. So the fact that we're taking these stops at those times is almost perfect, because that's what we're used to, you know, like driving. So I'm really not getting a bunch of fatigue while driving. So far it's been going good. Baby's been doing good. Mommy's been doing good. Everybody's happy. I hope I didn't jinx anything.
Hey guys, so we're officially 12 hours into the drive. We left Florida at around 12:30 this morning, and we are in Campobello, South Carolina, about an hour, well, exactly an hour from Asheville.
Which is the last charging destination.
Last destination, so we've got about 3 hours left on our trip, considering the fact that we definitely took our time when we went to the rest stops. I feel like this is really good time in comparison to what the ETA is for a standard gasoline powered vehicle. I believe according to Google Maps it's about 12 and a half hours or so. So adding on about another 2.5 hours really isn't bad, especially since we stopped to charge 5 times for the entire trip. So all in all, I think we both feel pretty positively about making this long drive in an electric vehicle.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like feels like an easy ride for the reasons I told you guys before. We're used to driving at most around 2.5 hours, and so basically each leg has been around that or a little bit less. So it's just comfortable. And so each time that we've stopped, I've gone to the bathroom every time. I guess we've also just got accustomed with the baby. It's usually around the time that we take him out, stretch his legs, and so it's been working great.
It's been nice. The baby's been fine. The longest drive that I personally have ever been on prior to this is to Savannah, and that was in a gasoline powered vehicle, and it just seemed like it was longer because I guess we did longer stretches, so it was more like we felt more fatigued, I feel like, afterwards in comparison to this drive, which is arguably twice as long. So all in all, feeling positive at the 12-hour mark. We'll see you guys when we get to our next charging station.
Okay guys, so we just parked at our last destination. I'm sorry, the last charger here. 14 minutes left to continue the trip. This is a level 3 charger, and this is in Asheville, North Carolina. After this, we basically have 2 more hours to go, 100 miles. So yeah, again, I'm gonna overcharge maybe for 20 minutes. The Airbnb that we're actually going to does have a EV charger there, so I don't have to worry about overcharging too much, but I'm just gonna play it safe as I have been. This ride over here, well, first just talking about this particular charging station. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, we're at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different charging stations here. And there's an EV Go there too, for, I guess, if you don't have a Tesla. So nice. It's next to the Regal Biltmore Grand. There's a Hilton Hotel right there. There's a Witch. So I guess decent amenities in terms of being able to eat at some place and use a restroom, things of that nature. So yeah, so just gonna overcharge, like I said, for about 20 minutes and then finish this leg up here. All right, so we got about 8 more minutes to charge. Overall, like I said, I don't want to jinx anything, but this has been a decent ride. And this particular stop that we are at, I would say it's probably the nicest, just in terms of the way that it looks overall. Yeah, I guess if I was comparing it to, I think like Turnpike chargers are probably the best, but on this road trip, this one has been pretty decent. A decent amount of bays, and like I said, you have the ability to go to the restroom. There's a sandwich place right across the street. The biggest thing or overall take that I will say with all of these different places is you don't really want to come to these locations like in the dead of night, because nothing's going to be open. There's no rest service. You can't use it. It's not a rest area. On the Turnpike, pretty much almost all the time those service areas are open, so you can at least go to the restroom and maybe grab a bite to eat. but for all of the locations that we have went to, there's been nothing that's been 24 hours. Like I said, that Hilton was nice enough to let us inside there so we could use their restroom, but that's not like they didn't have to do that because it was actually locked, and we rang the doorbell and then they, you know, let us go in there with the baby and whatnot. So just a few more minutes and then we will finish up this leg and take it from there. Okay, so we are on the last leg here. It says we're gonna make it there by 4:33. Ran into a little bit of traffic. I don't know if you guys were paying attention earlier. It says we're supposed to make it around like 2:40, 2:50. So I guess 2 hours roughly have been added on here. But I'm not sure that when they showed how long it was supposed to be for the actual route, if they took into consideration the charging time as well. I'm not 100% sure on that. And I have been overcharging by a few minutes here or there. I don't know if it's enough for 2 hours. But yeah, so we're getting ready to load up and get in for this last leg, and we'll see you guys soon. So one thing with this ride, the Tesla, it does a really good job about hugging these corners. It does a really, really good job. But anyways, some of the things that I was reading when you are driving in the mountains, you want to make sure that you overcharge because sometimes it can eat away at the battery. But I really haven't noticed much of a change in this all-wheel drive Tesla. The speed, there's like no change at all in the way that it speeds up while going up the hill, going down the hill. It just does a really, really good job about staying pretty consistent with the battery power. I know that I've seen other EV vehicles, and sometimes when you're up in the mountains, that range can be diminished and it affects the battery. But I'm not having any of those issues at all. We entered Tennessee about 10 minutes ago, so we should arrive at our destination at about 4:30. Yep, just a quick little update.
1 hour to go.
All right, so we just arrived at our destination with 98 miles to go. It is 4:27 p.m. Ran into a lot of traffic, 4 o'clock traffic, so that makes this trip 14 hours, like right on the head. I think we left at like 12:30. So future Mac here. I miscalculated prior when I said that the trip was only about 14 hours. It's actually 16 hours because we left at 12 and we didn't arrive until 4 o'clock. And it definitely didn't feel like that long. I don't know if it's because of the time of the day that we left, because we left so early, but it definitely did not feel like a very long ride. And I've gone on some long rides. The longest trip I've ever gone on as a kid was 24 hours with my dad. We drove all the way to New York. So that was crazy long. I remember that. That was pretty bad. But the 16-hour trip that we had, maybe because of the stops, the frequent stops, I don't know why, but it wasn't that bad. Let's see when we're on the way back to Florida if it still feels the same though. Not bad. We'll give you guys a little bit more of a full review after we get a little bit more comfortable. So overall, definitely our 14-hour trek was not as bad as I thought it would be, or that my wife and I planned it to be. Everything went great with the baby. He was really solid pretty much the entire ride. That was one thing that we were really freaking out and worried about, that he would not be able to entertain himself in the back seat, but that was great. And then the charging pit stops, they were fine. Like I said, because we're so accustomed to charging every 2.5 hours or so, it really wasn't that big of a deal for us. It was a smooth ride up until like the tail end where we ran into some traffic, some 4 o'clock traffic. But besides that, it was a really good experience. Overall, if you are someone who is looking to road trip with your Tesla, this is the performance model, it's not the long range. So I was fairly impressed. We drove about 750 miles, if not more, from Port St. Lucie to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and it was doable. So I would recommend it if you are doubting yourself or your ability to be able to do that road trip with an EV. What do you say?
I say get her done.
Zende, I would. He's got stuff coming down his nose, so he can't get any camera time. But overall, we enjoyed it. Hope you guys liked the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys have any questions. See you later.